In zombie media, an apocalyptic world makes for a gripping story, reanimated or infected lurking in every shadow of a crumbling society, while humanity's decay chokes out what's left. But often, how the world even got to that point where society collapses, anarchy rules, and the undead triumph is either glossed over in a rush to the action or given an absurdly flimsy explanation. Zombies are usually a basic threat. Let's be real. If zombies actually show up, we're screwed. But until then, I'll keep pointing out why Hollywood's version is just plain stupid. Comment below if you think you'd survive longer than the military in these movies. Smash that like button if you enjoy, and subscribe before the algorithm eats my brain. Varying across stories, but their ability to wipe out hordes is often no match for militaries or armed civilians. So how do they overwhelm entire societies and cripple them for good? Some stories offer decent or at least plausible reasons, like a super spreader event or unstoppable corpses with relentless drive. But that's not our focus today. We're diving into the dumbest, most baffling zombie apocalypses, ones that should have been stopped cold. In no particular order, here are the outbreaks that make no sense. Army of the Dead. Kicking off with Zack Snyder's zombie universe. We start with a military convoy hauling a biohazard across the Mojave Desert. Out of nowhere, a distracted newlywed couple slams their car into this critical transport. The soldiers, clueless about the cargo, approach and find an alpha zombie super strong, highly intelligent, and a combat beast. It obliterates the squad, infecting them all, then heads for Las Vegas, visible on the horizon. A montage shows Vegas falling as partygoers are overrun by the undead. Fine, the outbreak staying contained in Vegas makes sense. Desert surrounds it, and zombies stick where people are. Plus, alpha zombies lead and coordinate the hordes. But with animals getting infected, alphas organizing smarter zombies, and Vegas walled off like an attack on Titan Fortress, these undead are trapped in a glowing cage. News and social media mention debates over nuking Vegas, delayed by human rights concerns and government red tape. But with the risk of a national pandemic or worse, weaponizing the undead, any delay is reckless. Smart alphas could breach containment or scale walls World War Z style. The U.S. military somehow surrounded Vegas's 135-mile perimeter with shipping containers in record time, but drags its feet on wiping out the threat. These zombies are sitting ducks. How did the Alpha even escape its containment to overrun Vegas overnight? A military convoy wouldn't be wrecked so easily by a sports car. Shouldn't the soldiers have some hint about the cargo's danger? Even if it's classified? When chaos erupts, the military bombs Vegas, then bizarrely drops paratroopers in invisible hordes of hundreds. Why? Later, a heist to grab casino cash lets one infected escape the nuked city via jet, not turning until much later. This was all preventable. They knew the virus's danger, they were transporting it. If they nuked Vegas from the start, none of this happens. And don't get me started on the time loop or zombie robots. What even is this? The Walking Dead / Romero's Living Dead. Okay, he's dead, let's burn him. Another one down. I'm grouping these two zombie worlds together since they're cut from the same cloth. A virus, likely airborne, infects everyone, reanimating them upon death as long as the brain's intact. Bites from the turned cause a fever that kills, turning you into a zombie or walker / ghoul. These are the least threatening zombies we'll cover. Slow, stiff, dim-witted, yet durable, lasting forever without rotting. They can adapt, learning to use tools, climb, or act as a unit beyond a mindless horde. A bite means death unless you amputate fast, and everyone turns eventually without proper disposal. But does this justify society crumbling so fast? The idea of anyone becoming a cannibalistic corpse post-death is horrifying. Early days, weeks, months, even years would be brutal, with death from illness, accidents, or suicide turning people into threats. Seeing a loved one or stranger reanimate as a husk would break many. Chaos would reign initially, but humanity would adapt. I'm certain society wouldn't collapse under growing undead numbers. Picture Shaun of the Dead's ending. Zombies integrated into daily life. It's comedic but realistic. Militaries wouldn't be portrayed as hopeless idiots like in some shows. Governments and societies would develop disposal protocols, emergency procedures for deaths, and hospital safeguards like restraint for sudden flatlines. Everyone would learn to destroy the brain as routine. As grim as it sounds, it'd become normal. Society might stumble at first, but humans adapt to extreme changes. These zombies aren't Dawn of the Dead 2004, where Zombieland's runners, they're slow and manageable. Smarter variants that run or dodge defenses need time, specific locations, or stimuli to emerge, with no guarantee. Most undead would be killed on sight or, as shown in The Walking Dead, Romero's Living Dead, or Shaun of the Dead, tamed jaws removed, experimented on, or used for labor and entertainment. The zombie apocalypse would just be a dark chapter in history, not the end. Cargo, down in Australia. Cargo, 2019, shows a rabid outbreak in a semi-civilized post-zombie world mixed with bafflingly dumb choices. They've got containment assistance kits widely distributed, with guides on recognizing threats, infection stages, and a 48-hour countdown watch for the full turn. The kits even include lethal injection pins for mercy kills via temple stabs. Clearly, Australia knows this virus. Well, it causes honey-like pus to ooze from every orifice, and maps highlight high infection zones to avoid. These zombies are slow, dim-witted, easily distracted by blood or meat, and avoid sunlight, hibernating in dark places or burying their heads in sand, maybe to dodge UV or survivor's headshot ting them. They're barely a threat, hunting by smell or occasional sound, and can be fooled by masking your scent. Pus can blind them, and their constant seizures slow them further. Infection seems bite-only, not airborne, so avoiding bites is simple. Indigenous tribes turn these zombies into pets or mules with just blood and meat scraps. A squad with basic weapons could wipe them out in minutes. A guy in a film yells, "Wax hibernating zombies," and doesn't wake them. They're distracted by a drop of blood on a wall, ignoring people nearby, making them easy to kill from a distance or up close. How did these things overrun a city, let alone a continent? This outbreak should have been a non-issue, but it's a close second for dumbest due to how feeble these zombies are. 28 weeks later, what are you afraid of? It coming back. It won't come back. What if it does? We kill it. Are you kidding? Topping our list for the dumbest zombie-like outbreak is 28 weeks later. I love this dark, bloody film. Its opening and helicopter blender scenes are epic, but the way the rage virus restarts is mind-bogglingly stupid. 28 days later showed how fast the virus, spread by blood or saliva, turns people in seconds. Infected starve out from their rabid fury. So after decimating Britain, they die off. 7 months later, the US military and British survivors decide to repopulate Britain, despite ongoing cleanup of bodies and infected. Why rush people into a barely sanitized zone? The rage virus turned Britain into a bloodbath from a few animal rights activists getting monkey fluids. Yet, officials fly and bus in thousands to a cramped area near active cleansing efforts. Insanity? Kids even sneak out of the safe zone, past armed guards and snipers who just shrug. Kids, am I right? The kids find their mom, acting erratic with bloodshot eyes at their old home. Troops finally grab them, and she's quarantined as a carrier still human, but contagious. Scientists want to use her for a cure, but here's where stupidity hits over 9,000. The mom's husband, Don, abandoned her earlier, is the kid's dad, and somehow gets hired as a janitor with high-level clearance to her quarantine room. No guards, no cameras, nothing. He strolls in, had a heartfelt chat, and kisses her, getting infected. Why does a janitor have access to a biohazard zone? He takes out multiple armed US soldiers like it's nothing. Americans forgot how to shoot? The virus spreads because they cram uninfected civilians into a tight room downstairs, not telling them to lock doors and stay quiet. Don escapes to the civilian area through an unsecured second entrance. While only guard one door, knowing the rage virus's speed, they had no tight protocols. Snipers eventually shoot everyone indiscriminately. and firebombing starts, but Dawn survives in an alley. Flamethrowers and bombings come too late, and the virus hits Paris. 28 days later kept it contained, but 28 weeks later's rushed repopulation and botched response sparked by one kiss led a preventable outbreak spiral. It's less realistic and more we need another outbreak. So let's ignore logic. I plan to cover more nonsensical zombie outbreaks. And yes, 28 weeks later is a zombie movie. Don't start with that debate. I've made videos on it. Life got in the way, so we stuck to 4. Are there others that seem absurd to you? If this video gains traction, maybe we'll do a sequel. Which of these outbreaks shouldn't have happened most? Drop it in the comments. Huge thanks to our patrons, YouTube members, and donors for supporting the channel. Just watching and maybe liking is enough to help. I'm Zach Cass, aka Wild Shot Gaming. Stay happy, stay healthy, don't spark a pandemic with dumb decisions, and stay wild. Smash that like button if you enjoy, and subscribe before the algorithm eats my brain.